Welcome back to the Intentional Household Podcast. Today's guest is someone I've admired for years. Shannon Waller has been a Kolbe certified consultant since 1995. She's the 2015 recipient of the Kolbe Professional Award for Individual Leadership in Building Cognitive Excellence. And she's also certified in DISC and print and is a working genius facilitator. As someone who's also Kolbe and print certified, I'm so excited to have this conversation, not just from a professional standpoint, but a personal one. We're diving into how psychometric profile tools can help individuals and couples understand each other better, reduce conflict, and truly function as a team at home. Shannon, welcome to the podcast, and thank you so much for being here. I'm really excited to be talking to you about this. I know you are one individual who's so passionate about psychometric profiles. You have lots of experience and lots of certifications as well. Mm-hmm. But before we get into it, can you explain exactly, for those who don't know what psychometric profiles are, just explain quickly what it is and how they can help individuals?
Mm-hmm. So psychometric profiles are the word that's given to profiles that measure personality, that measure, in case of Kolbe, how you strive. Kind of just think of the psychology of humans. That's what a psychometric profile does, is it kind of measures different aspects of the psychology of human beings, which is all nice. And some of them are valid and some of them are less valid. Less valid might be, which Avenger are you? Or some of the animal ones, like Black Widow, please, right? So there's some that are just not terribly reliable or valid, but there's others that really are. And why I love them so much is a couple of reasons, and I'm sure we'll talk about a few as we go through. One is that it gives language to something that you know about yourself, but probably have not had words to describe, and it gives a common language. So if you have strategic and Clifton strengths and I have it, we both have a common understanding of what that means. Now, how it shows up will be unique. You have a much longer Kolbe fact finder than I do, kind of thing. But we can know that we're going to approach things from a similar perspective. We're going to be both interested in and capable with strategies, for example. So it gives us a way to communicate better. My passion is teamwork, especially entrepreneurial teamwork, and also among households, being married and having one. So anything that allows people to work better together, I am all for. And psychometric profiles are phenomenal. They help you understand yourself better, and they help you understand the other people with whom you are trying to accomplish something, helps you understand them better. So we can all get where we want to go with less friction, less fuss, less drama, less wasted energy, and more productive, collaborative, creative, and fun, as far as I'm concerned. So that is why I like them. What they are is simply a way to measure human behavior and personality, but what you do with it is actually what matters.
Well, and I think you're saying what you do with it. I think a lot of people are used to using these in the workplace setting with their teams. And using them in the household or within personal relationships, I find is an area it's untapped, and really like individuals are not understanding how relevant they can be in the household. And so how would you say that these can really help people to understand themselves in a relationship and how they can be utilized there?
Oh my God. How long do we have? Seriously. Well, let me there's a couple of examples that I want to give, because I think that will actually clarify. So one of the profiles that Strategic Coach uses all the time is Kolbe. And Kolbe, you have your Kolbe MO, you've done it. And your Kolbe measures how you strive and how you problem solve. Now, when you're in a relationship with someone, you're in a relationship with them because of how you feel about them. That's in your heart. Okay. But as soon as you go to do anything with this other human, you are into the striving zone, into how you take action. And if one of you does things one way, another one of you does things the complete opposite, you fireworks, and not the good kind, can be the result. And so, one of the things that we do, we have a couples connection workshop that we run every year for entrepreneurial couples. It's not therapy. It is for applying the Strategic Coach thinking tools to your life together as an entrepreneurial couple, which is super fun. So fun to do in the company of others. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that we do is a Kolbe A to A comparison. So really quickly, there are three parts of the mind: the cognitive, mental horsepower, brains. That's measured by IQ tests, that kind of thing. All good. It's good to have some brain power. But then there's the personality, which is what most people are familiar with. So Myers-Briggs, Clifton Strengths, Print, MBTI, Myers-Briggs. I said Myers-Briggs. DISC is another one. Predictive Index. Which Avenger are you? They're all in that realm. The first ones I mentioned are much more valid and reliable, by the way. And then there's what measures how you strive and how you problem solve, and that's Kolbe. So it is not a personality profile. You can be introverted, extroverted, smart, not so smart, and you can have the same Kolbe results. So one of the things that we do in our couples connection, and I actually did one of the very first Kolbe comparisons with Kathy Kolbe, who unfortunately passed away this year. And she had a way to compare it, and it was who each of you were along with how you expected the other person to be. Mm. Well, that was eye-opening. And so it turned out my husband's name is Bruce, and next summer will be 30 years since we've been married. So far, so good. We're batting okay. Is that I wanted him to be who he was. But he wanted me to be a longer fact finder, to have more mental energy for specifics and details than I naturally have. And Kathy said to him, and said this in the report, but she goes, "Give it up now. This is who you got." Mm-hmm. It was really clear. Yeah. And we have some fun travel stories of when I did not have all the facts, which would have been helpful. So now I delegate that and have household help for those things. But it's really important so that you can align expectations, because how people problem solve, how they're wired. For instance, you're always going to get the facts and have the details, organize that information.
Yes.
Right. You're not moving until that is true.
No, I'm not.
Right. And if I was like, "Oh, come on, we don't need a plan. We can just make it up as we go along." You are immediately, first of all, you can't take action because I'm telling you not to be you. And second of all, you're stressed.
I'm so frustrated with you. Like, Shannon, don't push me.
Exactly. Right? You're like, Get out of my face. We probably wouldn't stay married very long. Mm-hmm. Right? It just wouldn't happen. But if I can appreciate that strength, I don't have to be the same as you. But if I can appreciate that and say, "Hey, you know what? I think this trip will be awesome, but I don't have any mental energy for planning it." And you're like, "Ooh, I do." Or you might choose to go, "Oh, actually, I don't really care about travel planning, even though I want to apply my talents elsewhere. Let's hire somebody." Right? So it just allows you to have those conversations. And the big thing is not taking your partner's or your kids or your family's behaviors personally. Because most of the time people are like, "Oh, you're doing that just to tick me off." And the truth is, and this is what we learned through the Kolbe A to A comparison or some of the other profiles, like, no, that's actually just how they are naturally taking action. That's their success formula. It doesn't happen to be yours. And if you don't communicate that, you're in hot water. So we've never stopped doing it. Kolbe also actually has a relationship, Kolbe, called Takes Two, which I highly recommend. How you handle finances. There's two other areas, like cleaning and something else. It's really astute.
Oh, wow.
But we still do the Kolbe A to A, because it says, I lead with Quick Start, you lead with Fact Finder, whatever. It just allows you to not get in hot water. Like, some of the reasons why I like the profiles is it prevents conflict, right? That's the power behind them. So that's how, we find it completely transformational. It's always amazingly insightful when people do it. And I just get to see a whole bunch of couples do it then. But we even had a couple email us this year to say, "Oh my gosh, we've done these profiles and we were both kind of in tears because you have just described the source of all of our conflicts up until now. And we finally realized this was the cause of it, not some innate, problem between the two of us." It was amazing. And then I got to meet them. I'm like, "You guys were the ones that sent the letter." And they're like, "Yeah, we did." Wow. Turns out they're very similar, and they're both lots of mental energy for fact finding, and they need to be perfect, correct, and right. Oh my gosh, it was a riot. But they got to understand and see themselves in a brand new way that would not have been possible without the profiles. And they've been married for a long time.
Oh, that's amazing.
I know.
But, you are there quite often in that moment when couples are getting their results from their A to A, right? And they're learning not only about themselves, their own instincts and their strengths. But in that moment, they're also learning about their partner. And so what have you learned or noticed about these people when they're getting the results and learning about one another? It's almost, is it like, wow, okay, either I'm not broken or like, wow, you're not actually trying to annoy me. This is just how you are. This podcast is for busy, imperfect households like ours. If you've ever wanted to create more ease at home without lowering your standards, you're in the right place. Head to our website, intentionalhousehold.com, or follow us on Instagram @intentionalhousehold for more support.
That's usually the big, like, oh, that's what's going on, right? And they start to give themselves grace, and most importantly, they start to give their partner grace. Okay. Sometimes they'll be like, oh, that's why it's not like for myself and for Bruce, we're very similar.
Okay. Yes.
But we also have no mental energy for fact finding. Like together on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm a 3, he's a 2. We have 5 out of 20 if you add them up. Like if we need specifics and details, we get help, right? Okay. So it tells us where to use home delegation.
Okay. Right? So how would you suggest if you have a couple who has a similar profile and you both lack, let's just say, the fact-finding mode of action, how can you seek out or how can you fill in that gap?
I'm going to hire a specialist.
Okay.
So we have a financial planner. We had a nanny for way too long.
Okay.
I think mine was 12 or 13, but we really liked the order that she brought to the house. Out of 20, we're a 4 follow through. So he's a 2 and I'm a 2. So we really leaned hard into that. So basically we just go and find talent. We have a house cleaner. And these are things I don't feel guilty about. This is the big thing, Laura, because I think a lot of people like, oh, I should do it. Like guys, like I should handle the finances. Women are like, I should handle the housework. Yuck. There are no accurate stereotypes about who has the mental energy for what. I have a lot, well, depending on Bruce did Kolbe twice. You're only supposed to do it once. I'm slightly more quality control oriented than he is. I'm like, where's the level if he's doing something? Now, he's incredibly inventive, don't get me wrong. But I'm like, okay, I need to be straight, right? So, so we're both handy, which is good. So it's just one of those things where we just lean into, we know what we can do together. We know what we can pull off. We throw fabulous, spontaneous parties. Don't ask us to plan things in advance. Okay. Our wedding. So we just know how we roll. And then we supplement with specialists, especially if it's fact-finding. I think of finances. I think of even we hired a roofer because Bruce, neither of us are going to climb up and do that, right? We just hire specialists around the house, but again, without guilt, without thinking we should do it. And that prevents fights, that prevents conflict. It means we just have a much more peaceful existence. And as I said, so far, we've actually been together for 35 years.
Wow.
Congratulations. That's a long time. But we still someone was laughing at us because we were walking down the street holding hands. We're affectionate. We still love each other because we're not driving each other crazy.
You speak so highly of Bruce all the time.
He's awesome.
Now, tell me, how long ago did you do your A to A? Was that?
Well, I gave Bruce the Kolbe profile before I married him.
Okay.
Seriously. And they didn't have the ADA. This was a long time ago. Yeah. God, that's how long ago I did my Kolbe. That's amazing. So I profiled him before I married him. And as I said, that was 29 plus years ago. And we did the ADA as soon as it came out. So we probably did, maybe 8 or 9 years after that. But we did but I knew enough because I'm Kolbe certified, to know how to compare them and go, oh, okay, this is interesting. Okay. So we were onto the home delegation phase pretty early.
Yeah, you were smart. You did it right from the get-go. And you had this information to your strengths and the gaps right from the beginning, which can really alleviate a lot of that stress and conflict.
100%. It's interesting because I see a lot of couples who are resentful, who think their partners should be a different way than they are. And there are some behaviors they're not cool. So don't get me wrong. I'm not excusing those. But when it comes down to how people naturally take action, or with their Clifton strengths, if they lean into strategic, but they don't lean into executing strengths, things like that kind of at this point are pretty hardwired in. Yeah. And if you can't love and appreciate someone for those who they are, and you keep wanting somebody to be different, that's not ultimately healthy. When you get to see them, and especially if you can help them live in their best self version, oh my gosh, that's an incredible human being. And you had something to do with helping free them up to do that. Like that's a great relationship when you support each other to be your best. Yeah. Right. And I think these just give language, they give tools, they give a way of talking about it that is liberating, partly because it's not just my opinion about this. This is a validated profile that compares you to all the other answers, to other people, and you get to have a common, as I said, language about this. So it's not random. It's not just subjective. There's an objective reality to this, and that I find very reassuring for a lot of people.
Now, what would you say for the individuals who get their results and they say, hey, this is how I am, so accept me for how I am. And it means I'm not able to, let's just say that they are an adapter. And so they actually don't, their skill isn't systems and following order and whatnot. So within the household, they're just like, accept me for who I am. I'm going to leave my, let's just say clothes or my dishes by the sink because I am random and I don't follow order.
Yeah, that would be me.
Right. Like I can imagine some people who might be resistant to taking their Kolbe, get the result, and they're like, see, this is how I am, accept me for that. So how would you suggest individuals proceed with that?
It's really interesting, Laura. So the thing about striving instincts with Kolbe is they are problem solving, right? So this is when you want to solve a problem. When I am being random, or if I'm being adaptable, let's use that term. But I guess what? I can adapt and put my dishes in the dishwasher, right? Like that's actually adapting. My sister Julia is a neat and follow through, and I will follow her system. I follow my calendar organized by my brilliant support partner Katrina, right? And so I'm incredibly adaptable. Okay. So that's not an excuse. That's just being, I don't want to say lazy, but kind of. And there was a stupid little example. This is going to sound really dumb. However, sometimes you also do it because it makes a difference for your partner. We have to care about what is meaningful for the other person. Oh, that's nice. Okay, don't laugh at me, but this is a really dumb example. So we've got blinds, like the wooden shutters in our bedroom. And when they're down, light comes in. And I used to say, please flip the blinds the other way because then it blocks all the light. And I'm one of these people who needs to sleep in like complete darkness. And Bruce kept forgetting, like forever. And finally, in Shannon form, I got mad. I'm like, can't you remember? It means something to me. And he was like, it's like he woke up. He was like, oh, I'm sorry. And he started flipping the blinds the other way. So sometimes we just have to get a little jolt out of our normal thing. Like my husband needs a clean home. He's a true follow through, but he needs a clean, tidy environment to keep focused. We're both pretty distracted. I don't need that. I can operate in chaos just fine. Thank you very much. In fact, it works for me. This doesn't bother me. He needs it the other way. I now have habits. Habits are things you can do without thinking about them. So I now have habits. I'll do the dishes. I'll put them away. I do let them dry in the sink as far as I go. I load and unload the dishwasher. I keep the counters relatively tidy. When it gets a little bit too chaotic, I'll put it away. And I don't do that. Would I naturally do it if I was living on my own? No. Will I do it for my husband? Absolutely. Because it makes a difference for him. So kind of like how much do you care about the other person is key, right? So if you care, you will amend your behavior. Is it actually having you go against your grain? Not for more than 5 minutes, and you're not making a living doing some of these things. So this is where we can be generous and accommodate the other person. Does that make sense?
That's really nice. It does. Yeah. And it also comes down to respect for the other person. So not only am I sure I might be wired one way, but this other person, it's important to them they've communicated it. So I'm going to respect that. And I'm going to take, maybe the extra bit of effort that it would otherwise take me to do that. So,
yeah. And the way to actually, and this is a kind of a cool coaching point, the way to make it less effortful is you make it a habit. Again, habits are those things you can do without thinking about them. Mm-hmm. You're not striving. You're not problem solving. You're simply taking action, and it doesn't take any mental energy. It doesn't drain you. Right. So there's almost like a neutral we can get to with some things. You know, if we had to think about brushing our teeth every day, would we? I don't know. But you make it a habit because it's a really darn good idea and you'll live longer. So you just do it, but you don't think about it. So the same thing with me, you know, keeping the kitchen relatively tidy, exactly the same thing. It doesn't cost me any mental energy. And even I start to appreciate how much nicer it is to have a clean, tidy kitchen. But that takes a while.
Nice. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. But I would do it for a different reason than you're going to do it, because you don't like operating in chaos either. Right. But it's one of those things where our motivations might be different, but the result can be the same.
Yeah, it can.
If you've ever thought, why do I keep reacting like that? Or why do I get so annoyed? You're not alone. That's where the Print Survey comes in. The Print Survey helps you understand your unconscious motivators, the hidden why behind your behavior. It's one of the most powerful self-awareness tools we use at Intentional Household, especially when helping families and household support work together within the household. You'll uncover what motivates you, what derails you, and how to parent and partner with more empathy and ease. Take your Print Survey and start showing up with intention. Email us at info@intentionalhousehold.com to get started.
The best example for me is I may have mentioned to you in the past that Halloween is a really big deal in our household. And I know every year Halloween's coming up. And so as a systemized individual, right, I have all year, we could put processes in place to get Halloween in order in a low stress manner. But, you know, Alex is the one who really takes charge of Halloween, and he operates very differently. He's not going to follow or create systems, right? He's just going to work on the fly and to, you know, have shortcuts and work as efficiently as possible. And one Halloween, I've told the story before, but one Halloween at the end of the night, I had gone into the garage and there was trash scattered all over our garage. And I thought, like, did an animal get in here? I don't know what happened. There's this garbage. And then I had looked a little further and seen that actually there was a garbage bag and it was full of trash. But in the heat of the moment of needing a garbage bag, you know, unlike most people who would, you know, look for the stack of unused garbage bags, well, Alex saw a garbage bag. It may have been in use, but he dumped out all the trash and then used that garbage bag as part of his setup, because he's like, I don't need to follow order here. I have the trash bag and that'll do. But not understanding that about him, had I not had that information, I would have think he was a maniac, right? Like, what are you thinking doing that? But because I had that understanding, I could just laugh about it and accept that that's how he is. And, you know, he's now developing these habits, even though it's year to year and he's still thriving under chaos, but he has these routines that he has created when it comes to Halloween. And then I can accept that that's how he operates, and I can operate in my own kind of way, but separately.
Yeah. Exactly. And so sometimes you have to have these parallel paths, right? And even if when you operate very differently, and sometimes when you operate the same, otherwise you can end up competing. Like if you're both super systematized people, your systems might compete, right? Or who's got the better research, who's got the better system, who's got the better innovative idea for quick start, who's got the better physical quality if it's implementer, to use Kolbe terms. So sometimes parallel tracks are a really good thing. Now, the one thing I would say is I hope you cleaned up the trash. That is not your job.
Well, he did, because it also comes back to respect, because he knows that I want the garage back in order and I want him to complete the entire job. So he knows now, out of respect, that when Halloween's done, the next day, actually, he was doing it at one point on the evening of Halloween, but because of the World Series, it cut into things. But now he will put everything away immediately because he knows that it bothers me, actually.
That's really good. So but here's the brilliant thing that you did, Laura. You did not take it personally. Most other people who are not aware, right, of profiles and the different would have gone, oh my God, he did that to drive me crazy. He knows how much this would drive me insane. I'm going to kill him, right? Like literally, you've heard this response.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if they didn't say it out in their outside voice, it was sure as heck on their inside voice. And you're like, oh dear. But you were like, oh man, there's Alex being the dude again. I'm just going to walk away, right, until he comes back and cleans it up. And you also had a sense of humor about it. So you didn't take it personally, and you had a sense of humor about it. Oh my gosh, how much better? Just think about the next day where all of a sudden there's going to be peace in your household, and that's important, rather than resentment, feeling like you're not cared about, not listened to, not respected, all those things. You're like, no, you didn't take it personally.
No.
Oh my gosh, that's advanced. That's huge.
Wow, thank you. Because I never thought it was about me, right? I was like, this is all about him. But I can understand how some people would think, well, you're trying to annoy me. And at the end of the day, it has nothing to do with that partner.
Correct. But again, if you hear about conflicts with people, I hear about conflicts with people, and it's usually when they're taking things. I actually just reported a podcast on why not taking things personally is a superpower.
Wow.
Right. When we don't do that, which I think the more I talk about it, the more it's true, is that when you can just go, oh, that's them. You can observe the situation, as Jefferson Fisher says, rather than be in it. You have so much more creativity, more ability to respond creatively. Let me put it that way. You're not reacting. And creative and reactive have the same letters, only rearranged. So you're rearranging your response to be something that's much more loving, much calmer, much more peaceful. Like that's just all good. And the garage still got cleaned up, and the kid had a cool garbage bag for whatever he was doing the garbage bag for Halloween, right? Like it all happened.
That's right.
Maybe not in the same order that you would do it, but who cares? It got done. And that's what matters without some big storm.
Exactly. He loved those body bags. And he got a lot of compliments on them.
That would have been an awesome display, just saying.
Yeah, he was thrilled. So Shannon, you've talked about using this with kids as well. So I want to get into that. What is an appropriate age? If we were talking about Kolbe, what is an appropriate age to use these with kids?
So Kathy Kolbe has always worked with gifted kids. That's actually her beginning 50 plus years ago. And so when she developed Kolbe, the Kolbe profile and index, they actually have something you can do with babies. And it's actually, I'm not sure how validated it is, but you can see what they do with an ice cube on their tray, on their, it's been so long since I had a baby. I forgot what they're called.
The high chair tray?
High chair. Thank you. Okay. So you put an ice cube on the thing. Well, so apparently something like an implementer will like poke it and see what it's kind of constructed of. The follow throughs don't like the mess that it's making. So they'll put it in the corner and try and like pat it. Quick Start will probably pick it up, eat it, or throw it, is try and like lick it and do that and kind of do the experimenting. I can't remember what fact finders do, but you can almost kind of observe some of that behavior really, really young. Okay. They do have a Kolbe Y, which is great. They have to be, I believe, a grade 3 to 5 reading level or above. Okay. Like you want a child who can understand the questions, and some kids that's different age range, right? Depending on the reading ability. And then for the adult Kolbe, you need 17 or above. Okay. But the Kolbe Y, which stands for youth, was very, very useful. They give you ranges. So in Kolbe, you have these 4 modes: fact finder, follow through, quick start, implementer. Implementer, think of the noun, using implements, not the verb. Implementing projects is follow through. And then they have 3 modes: how you prevent problems, how you respond or accommodate with solutions, and then how you insist or will how you will problem solve. And so initiate solutions is what that one's called. So they'll give you those zones. They won't give you the numbers, because that person's not fully formed yet. That was super helpful because one of my kids was like quick start implementer when she was a kid. And I kind of explained why schoolwork wasn't as much fun for her because, classrooms are fact find or follow through and they want you to sit still, which she never did. It explains why she aced the plasticine project.
Yeah.
She actually took over her sisters and fixed it, which was amazing. So it helps you see. She and Charlotte in grade 3 printed out her Kolbes, printed them out, and put them in plastic folders with colored duct tape and wrote Charlotte in some scrawl, and gave it to each of her teachers.
Wow.
She owned it. She was like, "This is me." Oh. I know, right? It was so cool. And this is in grade school. So that was kind of amazing. So it's really fun. And then, it's shifted a smidge since she got older, but she's still an 8 implementer, which is kind of amazing. So we're like, okay, what do you want to fix? Her boyfriend was also one, and he's a very successful mechanic. He's crazy good. So it's just, you get to appreciate the person for who they are.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
When they're yours, rather than trying to make them be you, which most parents do. We want kids to be in our image, mm-hmm. and we relate to them well, and we put all the praise on them. And then you've got the one kid who's like, I know they came out of me, but what planet are they from? And that helps you understand them and appreciate them and work with their strengths. So it's huge. It's huge to know your kids. Clifton Strengths has one as well that's also for younger kids. I don't remember the ages, but I know we've had her do that too. Something like Print, which is more your motivational imprint, that is going to be a little bit older. I would say again, 17, 18 or above. You want to, there's some life experiences I think help form you. And I don't know DISC and I don't know some of the other ones, but that's kind of like post-teenage years is kind of it. That's when you start to get really validated results.
Okay. That's amazing. But I mean, it's just another way to understand them and then be even more connected to them because you understand their strengths and can appreciate them and work within what you have and speak to them the way that they understand.
They feel understood. Like when kids, younger kids, up until 8, 9, they're still pretty connected to you. Mm-hmm. But then they start getting older and then you get the teenage years and then they're defaulting to what their friends are saying. It is hard to connect. And if you have some of these almost like levers or dials, and you're not trying to manipulate your kids, but it gives you points of connection. Let me talk about them that way. Okay. It's like if you've got a kid who's super empathetic, then you're like, wow, are you feeling what other people are feeling right now? Do you need to let's go for a walk, or do you need a hug? Whereas some other kid who has empathy way down the list, you're like, maybe they need to think about things. Maybe they need to research. I don't know, whatever it is. Maybe you've got a kid who just is really good at rallying all the kids around them. Good to know. You've got an influencing kid, right? It just means you can support their strengths and connect with them and point them gently in directions rather than just like, there's one right way that's not theirs. Because that's what alienates parents and children. There's obviously some horror stories about that. Kids who fire their parents, and I think it's because this child is not feeling seen or heard or respected. Mm-hmm. And again, these tools make that easier. Now, what's interesting though, is parents who these tools, because they are tools, are things that are attractive to parents who want to connect more with their children and do respect their children. Parents who don't have that as a value system will never do that.
Got it.
Right?
That's right.
It's kind of, there's it's binary. It's either you're on this path or you're not.
Okay. Yeah, I can understand. Well, I want to, when my kids reach the age, of course, I want to do all of these with my kids so I can just have that deeper understanding.
Exactly. Yeah. It especially with Charlotte with the print profile. Because Madison, my eldest, is 25 now. She and my husband and are identical.
Wow.
How they get along in the world. Enjoy life and be happy, succeed and achieve. They also share the same birthday.
Wow.
I know. And I'm enjoy life and be happy, be strong and self-reliant. So we're all in our little doing pathways and we're just making stuff happen. My youngest daughter, she'll probably kill me if she knows I'm saying this, but her motivation in life is to be special and find meaning in life and to be safe and secure.
Very
not really an achiever mindset in there. Anyway, she's just got a new job, which we're very excited about. It's going to be very meaningful for her. But all these random jobs that Bruce was throwing out in the car one day, like 2 hours of job ideas, and none of them were meaningful to Charlotte. And I was just cringing because I'm like, honey, this is not going to land with her. And then she went and found something that was meaningful for her. So it's just like, you can know it and still not actually take it seriously or use it. But when your child does land on something, it'll help you understand why and to appreciate where they're coming from.
Yeah. And you're not thinking, hey, this would be a fun job. Why don't you do this? It would be so much fun. And she's like, I don't care about having fun.
Oh my God. Well, exactly. And fun for me is a technical term. It is not frivolous. Yeah. If something's fun, it's incredible. If something's not fun, it was horrid. Right? Like it's quite dramatic. And I give people the little cheat sheet to me so they understand me when I'm speaking or coaching. But yeah, like that's not a relevant signpost for Charlotte.
No.
But meaningful and safe and secure, that is. So it's helped me with my very different way of operating, bridge the large gap. Because being connected to my kid is super, super important. I want a lifetime relationship with this person.
Yeah.
And I could wreck it just by me being me on the daily basis. So it gives me the direction for how to do the work to connect with my kid.
100%.
Scrolling through Instagram while listening? Pause and follow us at Intentional Household. We're sharing family systems, time-saving tips, and routines that actually work in real life.
If we go back to like the couple as well, thinking about having fun and enjoying life, which is Alex, and I'm safety and security.
You're the same. I know.
I'm the same. We had gone on a trip in January. On our way home, we had to stop in Miami. When Alex booked the hotel for Miami, he actually booked the wrong night. So we show up at the airport and we were going to check into this convenient hotel. I'm tired, I'm cold, and I'm hungry.
Ooh, hangry.
And he finds out that we actually booked the wrong night. So we have to find this other hotel. We check in, we walk upstairs, and the patio door is open. And when we try to close it, the latch there isn't even a latch. We didn't even say anything to one another. Alex, he walked in first, he took a look, turned around, and went downstairs because he understood that safety and security, I will not be able to sleep.
No.
I can't relax in that room if there's no latch. Right. He wouldn't care. He's just like, we had a great trip, right? Let's talk about how amazing that was. But because he understands now that I need that sense of security, it's just not even conversation. It's let's get a different room. So now we can both relax.
Which is so you solve that issue with no drama, no conversation.
No, nothing.
Right? Meetings get a bad rap for a reason. You didn't even have to have a meeting about it, right? Mm-hmm. And you felt taken care of.
Yeah.
Except for booking the wrong night, that not so much. But you felt respected, you felt taken care of, you felt understood.
Yes.
Well, what does that mean in a relationship? A lot, right? Versus if you were just to try and override that, mm-hmm. that's not a good call.
That wouldn't end well.
No, it would not end well. Exactly. That's the best way to put that. Yeah, on a couple different levels. Exactly.
Now, for any couples who are listening or any individuals who are listening and think, I want to get started on this really appeals to me, what assessment or what tool would you suggest they start with?
That's a really good question. So the two that the first two I start with usually with individuals or couples in relationship are Kolbe. So KOLBE.com. Do your Kolbe A index. Have your partner, spouse, significant other do it, and then invest. It doesn't cost that much to do the Kolbe A to A comparison. Very illustrative. It will show what never to do with the other person. In other words, how not to really tick them off. Useful information. I would also recommend the Takes Two profile. And I think it's just another additional fee. You don't have to start all over again. It's also really illustrative in terms of, again, how you handle finances and homes and cleaning and stuff like that. So that could be, I don't know if you guys have done that one, but I think you'd enjoy it.
We haven't. And I'm curious, Shannon, about how that can help a couple with like household tasks, or did you even say cooking?
I don't know if it does that. I'm actually looking it up right now. Enhance your relationship. Yes. So Takes Two. It's fast. It's easy. And it talks about, how you and your partner click is what it talks about. I'm trying to remember the 3 different areas that it covers, and it's just escaping. Oh, finances, household chores, and communication.
Wow. Which is, I mean, what every couple needs.
And it's what they all fight about.
Okay, exactly. Right? Yes.
Right. So those are the 3 areas. So tackle common sources of relationship stress.
Okay.
So very useful. And again, based on your Kolbe A profile. So once you've done that, you've got all the basis for all the other cool things. So Kolbe is phenomenal. It's good. And it's good for any time you're working together with someone, but our life relationships are the most important ones. So yes, do that. The other one that's probably the easiest and fastest and super well understood is Clifton Strengths. And just go to gallupstrengthscenter.com, or just Google Clifton Strengths, whatever, you'll find it. And get all 34. So it used to be, it was like, I don't know, whatever dollars to do top 5. And then it was $89.99 to do the rest of the 34. They've made it, I think, $50 to do all 34.
Okay.
So useful. So you want to look at your top 5. These are like the strengths you've been dealt. And the way they describe a strength is a talent times investment equals a strength. So you can have the raw capability and talent. And when you invest time, effort, energy, education into that, it becomes a strength. And a strength is where you can have near perfect performance. I'm like, sign me up. I want that. Right. And then the next 5 to 7 are kind of ones you can pull out of, like, if these are the cards you've been dealt, these are the ones you can pull out of the hand on the table. And then what I also find extraordinarily entertaining is your bottom 5.
Okay.
This is where you do not go. You are not dealt these cards. Not in this lifetime. Not happening. And it's really funny because there's 4 different themes: strategic thinking, relationship building, executing, and influencing strengths. So the 34 break up into these categories. So executing strengths, no mystery as to what this means. It means people who get stuff done. Mm-hmm. People with things like responsibility and consistency and a ranger and things like that. Well, I have 1 in my top 5, which is ranger. 5 of the executing strengths are in my bottom 10. I was not put on the planet for that purpose. Clearly, these are not my God-given talents. And so so here's where a lot of people go, which is just erroneous. And that is, I need to go work on my weaknesses. Well, as Dan Sullivan has said at Coach Forever, if you work on your weaknesses for a long time, what you get are really strong weaknesses.
Okay.
This makes no sense, people. Let's not do that. So I realized early on, I need to make friends with people who are good at getting stuff done.
Okay. Why
did I have a nanny? Why did I have a housekeeper? When both of us were working full time and I was traveling, we had someone who prepared meals for us for a little while, right? Okay. So we had the A team: Annie, Anita, and Angie. That's what my husband called them.
Oh, I love that.
That was when our kids were little. So that was kind of fun. We still have Anita, by the way. She's lovely. She's at my house this week. Made my day. So I just know I'm good at strategic thinking. I'm good at relationships. I've got influencing strengths, but I'm not the get it done person. But it's a pattern of teamwork, and the acronym is WIDGET: wonder, invention, discernment, galvanizing, enablement, tenacity. And I think not unlike the insights that Kolbe or Clifton Strengths or Print gives you, it tells you where in a creative process someone really wants to spend time and what brings them joy, where they feel competent, and where they feel frustrated. Again, it's in the affective realm. It's in the personality realm. But if you've got someone who's enablement tenacity, they're going to kick into the project to get it done. Someone else might be at the other end going, oh, we could do this. Mm-hmm. And that could be another source of joy or conflict. depending if we expect the other person to be just like us. Both Bruce and I are the same. Again, you can tell the pattern here. We're Kolbe twins. We're a few other things. Anyway, so if we're going to get stuff done, we need to hire help. It's a lot of delegation in our life, or do it the last minute, because that's the other time where we're productive. So that's just good to know. I don't expect him to do that. He doesn't expect, is our life a little messier than some other people's? Sure. Is it also more creative? Yes. So, but we're not stressed out living our life our way. We'd stress somebody else out, but we can be ourselves. Our kids are fed, our house is clean, we make money. It's okay. It works. And we can do it to the best of our ability. And then we supplement with other people's talents, because it does take a village, not just to raise children, but to just live, as far as I'm concerned. So those are the profiles. Yeah, seriously, especially if you're extreme like we are. When you know the profiles, you just have tools to go in and collect talent. And why not have a team at home? Yeah. Why not have a team in your life? Really? I mean, we do this with our friend group. There's going to be one person in most people's friend group who's the organizer.
Yes, that's true.
We already rely on people. Why should we think it's any different? So that's my take. Very fun to have your friends do this too, by the way.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Okay.
Intentional living doesn't mean perfect living. It just means choosing what matters on purpose. Want help making those little shifts in your household? Find tools, downloads, and episodes at intentionalhousehold.com.
Well, I mean, hey, teams are so important in the workplace, but you know what? You also need a team at home and to really thrive. And so you can enjoy and live your best life and focus on the things that you want to do and your strengths. And like you said, where there are gaps, then you find the people to support you.
It's a good reason to be ambitious and to want to make money, so that you can create opportunities for other people to do what they love, right? Like I've just found two people who I'm not good at physically organizing. I was laughing about being on your podcast. I'm like, oh dear, I'm probably the worst person ever, because intentional household, right? Because I'm terrible at physically organizing, but I found two people who love doing it.
Yes.
Well, guess what? They're going to come over to my house and we're going to hang out for a day or three to get stuff figured out.
But I mean, living the intentional household, we're talking about having the A team, right? When you had different stages of your life and you had these people to support you, that is being intentional. So that, again, like you guys aren't fighting over cooking and cleaning. That's not my thing. So I'm going to get someone who enjoys doing that.
Yeah. Okay. Now I feel better.
Oh my gosh, Shannon, you are a very intentional individual. It goes far beyond this conversation. So don't you worry.
Good. Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Even if I'm not organized.
But you find a way, to be organized. You're talking about having Katrina who supports you, and she helps you to be organized.
She does. She was like, she sat down today because it was nice. I haven't seen her for a while because we've been traveling. And she goes, oh, I get to schedule today. I'm like, you get to schedule. I'm like, those words would never come out of my mouth. It was so funny.
You're like, because that's not fun.
I get to coach. I get to speak. I get to be on your podcast. That is like lights me up. But getting to schedule, that phrase is not in my brain. Yes, so to each his or her own, which I love. And when it is, you said this earlier, but like when you can give people opportunities to do what they love to do, it's the mindset shift, which is what you talk about too, is thinking that you have to do it yourself and not getting strategic about, I was not put here to do this. And I want to be a great mom. I want to be a great wife. I want to be a great partner. And me being miserable all the time, which I would have been if I had some of these other expectations of myself, would have been a disaster. I would have been the grumpiest human being of life if I had those expectations plus working. It's like I decided a long time ago, intentionality, that how I wanted to show up for my kids. I was going to be the adventure mom.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Have kids will travel was my motto. So if you wanted fun, mama was up for it. If you wanted routine and walking someone to school 9 times a day, I needed help with that. Right. It was just, so my kids knew what to count on me for, and doing it for me without guilt. That's Absolutely. Kind of the big thing. Cause I don't think guilt is a terribly productive emotion. So yeah, anyway, there's a mindset behind the focus on strengths. I think that's what I'm trying to get at. You'll only do this if you think this is worthwhile, or if you're not trying to be somebody, you're not. If you are trying to fit into some, as you determined, predetermined mold, then this is probably rubbing you the wrong way.
Absolutely. Well, I hope that some listeners watch or listen to this and are inspired by listening to what you have to say, because, it's just always so wonderful chatting with you and listening to all of your wisdom. So thank you for that, Shannon. And thank you for coming on the podcast. And I really hope that some people do take action and do take the Kolbe or some of the others that you suggested, because it really can provide so much insight and help to reduce or remove the conflict that people are dealing with day to day.
Yeah, 100%. Let's have grace for ourselves, grace for other people, grace for our loved ones, and a more peaceful, productive existence. That to me is kind of the name of the game. So thank you so much for having me in on this conversation, because I get to talk about it professionally all the time, but it is so fun to talk about what it means for us personally, which frankly might be where it matters almost most. So thank you, Laura. And thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Shannon. Thank you for listening to the Intentional Household podcast. If you want to connect with Shannon, you can check out her website at yourteamsuccess.com or strategiccoach.com. And if you'd like to take your own Kolbe or print, you can email us at info@intentionalhousehold.com. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Intentional Household.